Hey guys, it's Lisa, and this video is going to be about homeschooling. And I am not an expert, but I have this sheet that is kind of from someone who's kind of an expert, and I thought I wanted to share it with you. So I used to go to this homeschool support group, and so we've been homeschooling all of our kids. We've been homeschooling our two youngest ones since they were so I guess for 3 or 4 years, since they were kind of old enough to be in school. And we have been homeschooling our two oldest ones for a little over 2 years, so about 2.5 years. And so I used to go to this homeschool support group. I really liked it. The only reason I stopped going was just basically because of timing. But the leader of the group would hand out these sheets called Help Club for Moms. And I always said, I'm going to make a video about that because it's an amazing thing to share with other moms. And then, sorry, let me adjust my camera a little bit because I keep jumping in and out of it. And then I never got around to it because I'm homeschooling my 4 kids. And anyway, I thought I would share one with you. It's that time of year, it's January, where a lot of times moms start to look at what they've done and they start to go, I'm behind, or what have I been doing, or it's January and I still haven't found the perfect curriculum, or it's January and I still don't have a great schedule. This particular Home Club for Moms sheet really helps with that. I have, in my few years of experience, I have come up with a new thing also about homeschooling when you're behind, and I will make a separate video about that. But for today I'm going to share this. It's by a homeschool leader. And if you are a person of faith or a person of not faith, take it as you will. The first part deals a lot with Bible. Before, I have not always been a person of faith. Before I was a person of faith, I would just count that as quiet time, just by myself, like doing yoga and stuff. And even though right now, being like 8 months pregnant, yoga sounds like the farthest thing from relaxing. But so just take it because because a lot of it is really good. So wherever you are on that, just kind of listen and really take what you need. Take the nuggets from this. I got a lot out of it. I have found it really, really helpful. So I'm going to read. It is about 3 pages. I'm going to try to shorten it up because I think the last few pages are just some suggestions. So I'll try to keep it short. But okay. So it starts off the homeschool. This is a homeschool challenge. And this is a great idea to do if you're feeling behind, because trust me, I did this when I was feeling behind. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And I was feeling like, holy cow, my kids are going to be dumber than dirt because I am not getting this. So I feel totally different now and I have a whole new take on it. But this helped me so much. Okay, so the homeschool challenge. Mom, and one more thing and then I'll stop rambling. I'm sorry if I keep looking down because I'm actually going to read from this. I took notes on the back. So I'm actually going to read from this. So I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get the information without messing it up. Okay, so mom, get up 30 minutes earlier than your family to spend time with the Lord. And that is where I said you can do whatever you need to do, whatever feels like faith to you. For instance, my mom is they spend time in the mountains. Some people like to walk their dogs. Some people like to read the Bible. So whatever works for you. Be quiet so you don't wake up the kids. Hint, set out anything you need the night before so that you won't wake any of your children. Light a candle, cuddle up on the couch with your favorite hot beverage, Bible, pen, journal, and blanket. Savor the moment with the Lord, but remember, be quiet. Pray and commit your day to the Lord. Ask for wisdom, knowledge, compassion, and loving patience with your children. Ask the Lord to help you to remember why you love being at home and homeschooling. Ask Him to fill you with joy. And then it suggests one of the verses to read on this morning would be read Deuteronomy 6:4-9. Write verses 6-7 in your journal. And it asks the question, why do you think the Lord says that these commandments are to be on your hearts first? Okay. God says it's important for parents to know the Word of God. You can't pass along what you don't possess. If it's on your heart, chances are you will share it with your children. Your children will love what you love. Make it your aim to wake up 30 minutes earlier this week. Ask God to bless you and give you the energy for the day. So that is step 1. All right. And then it says, make breakfast and have everyone clean up. Let your children pick a safe, warm beverage to sip on during reading time. What's for dinner? Know what's for dinner by 9 a.m. So plan your dinner. If you're a homeschool mom or a mom in general, you know, yeah, like about 6 o'clock, you really start thinking about that. So know what's for dinner by 9 a.m. So you can be thawing whatever you need or putting it in the crock pot, whatever. All right, then it says it's time for school. Have your children gather fun crafting projects to do at the kitchen table while you read to them. Play-Doh, watercolors, markers, colored pencils, sewing, knitting projects of any kind. If you have placemats, tell them that the crafting must stay on the placemat. I love this. When I was new to homeschooling, the kitchen time, like the table time, the morning time, the circle time, whatever you want to call it, was a huge blessing in my life, because when I started my day like that, I always knew they got something. Even if I dorked up all the other plans I had for the day, they always got something. Okay, so first things first, read the Bible to your children. This is more important than math and does count as school. Dr. David Noble of Summit Ministry says, why study the Bible? 1, it's part of world literature. 2, it has tremendous influence on the United States. 3, it has tremendous influence on Western civilization. 4, it's the mark of an educated man. And I will say that's true because I was raised in an atheist family. And when I went to college, I was shocked by all the biblical references in various books that I was reading in college. And I wish that I had had that knowledge and that I wasn't having to look it up. So it is the mark of an educated man. It's the mark of a moral man. It's the mark of a spiritual man. It's the mark of a free man. It's scientific, it's historical, it's philosophical, it's God's owner's manual for mankind. Every worldview has a Bible. The Bible tells us so. Did you catch that? It's the mark of an educated man. When you read the Bible to your children and also encourage them to have personal devotions, you are helping them to become truly educated. Make it fun in your home. We put out a glass, and so this is what they suggest. We put out a glass jar filled with yummy candy for devotions. Each child could have a yummy treat while I read the Bible. Okay, I like that suggestion, except I'm going to be doing another video on this. My family just gave up sugar. So, yeah, that would be no for us. And I've just found that, like, the treats in general, homeschooling, I found we gave way too many treats, and that's why we decided to give up sugar. Whole new video on that. Okay, so let's see. Read Psalms 23 to your children in an easy-to-read version of the Bible. Children, tell your children about Jesus being our good shepherd, and we are his sheep. We follow Jesus wherever he leads and can trust him all the days of our lives. Tell them three reasons why you trust and love Jesus. And there's a little thing for all the things on this page that you're to check off. But make it your own. It doesn't have to be exactly. I made this my own. It was 2 years ago. I made it totally my own, but it totally helped me so much. Okay, so you've already done all of that in the morning. Isn't it amazing? You've planned your dinner, you've fed your kids, you've read, and during that morning circle time, I would always pick a great book that my kids loved. I would read from the Bible, but I would also just pick amazing books that they loved and things that I just wanted them to know, sometimes a biography or whatever. And it would take maybe 15 minutes to read those. And excuse me, pregnancy. And and my kids still remember the things that we read in morning time. So, all right, this is the next page. It's history time. Read your history overview book for 15 minutes about the time period you are studying. Sorry about that. Use a globe to point out the area you are studying. Read 15 minutes from your picture books about the same time period. Read 15 minutes from a chapter book about history. After each book, ask the children to narrate back to you what you read. Now, we used Story of the World. We still use Story of the World by Susan Wise Bauer. And then I just have a globe. Like I have an electronic globe, so we would sometimes play like games where you would race to find the continents. I didn't always go along with time period books because if you're new to homeschooling or you have multiple kids or whatever, you can find yourself on Pinterest and planning and doing things to try to make it perfect instead of just doing it. So I would, if I had the books, great. If I didn't have the books, I would just read something we found interesting, because otherwise you can overplan and plan and plan and get nothing done. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right. Now, it's science time. Read aloud for 15 to 25 minutes from one of your nature or science books. Ask the children to narrate back to you what you read. Science, done. All right, it's break time. Let the children go outside if appropriate. And let me just tell you, sometimes I would combine the science and the nature walk together. So we would get out of the house, I might read 5 minutes from a nature thing, and then I would say, hey, let's go find this or let's go find that. One time we did fungus and we went on a nature walk. And we looked under bark and found mushrooms and things like that. And my kids still remember that. And that kind of stemmed from this. So, okay, it's break time. Let the children go outside if appropriate. If you would like them to have fun in the snow but not commit the whole day in winter clothes, simply bring some buckets of snow into the house and put it in the tub. This is a really fun activity. You could also fill up water guns and shoot the snow to melt it, or you could have the children play with blocks or Legos together. The main thing is to give them something to do that they would like to do, that they like to build relationships. And relationships is one of the most amazing things about homeschooling. So I know as a Pinteresty mom, I have found myself getting wrapped up in other stuff instead of building relationships, and that's what it's all about. So, all right. Lunch, then back to work. So isn't it amazing? So already we've studied the Bible, history, science, had some outside time, had some relationship time, and we just had lunch. And it's not like, that's amazing. Okay, reading lesson, language arts, handwriting, and spelling. So this is after lunch. Do whatever you do, but don't do it too long. No longer than 30 to 45 minutes. Smile when you are teaching them. Remember, you are the mama. Anyone can teach your child, but only you can be their mom. So ask the Lord for patience. End the lesson by reading their favorite book with them. You get even more read aloud time. Amazing. All right, it's time for quiet time or nap time. Now, I don't anymore have kids that nap. I soon will. I'm going to have a baby in 6 weeks. So I soon will have another, a nap time. But my kids, I still enjoy this part of it where they have some free time, some downtime, some quiet time. Okay. Now, if your children don't nap, try having quiet time in their room for 30 minutes to an hour. If this is a new concept to your child, give them grace if they're having trouble being away from you. Maybe you could offer a fun prize at the end of the week if they cooperate. Make quiet time interesting. Give them a CD player, building toys, tell them to be as quiet as possible, or knitting, etc. The main thing is that they can listen to a book or tape or interesting CD or read their favorite book. I always offered a prize for reading and Bible memory when our children were little. Quiet time became a staple in our home. Our children loved it, and they learned so much from their time alone. They could read or listen to whatever they liked. I used to play CDs and I would clean the house and stuff, but now we do classical conversations. So I use that quiet time as a time to play our classical conversations memory CDs. They can still do Legos, they can still do whatever they want. We live in a tiny house, so we don't really have a lot of rooms for people to go to. So we still kind of do our quiet time together, but it does give me time where I'm not teaching them and I'm not feeling guilty about it. So I can catch up on my own things. I will do a 5-minute pickup before quiet time, and I really like that. Okay, then it says, enjoy the rest of the afternoon with your peeps. Make phone calls, pick up the house, drive the kids to lessons or sports. Now, I find it interesting that they left math out of this. I guess I've always just kind of mixed reading, language arts, handwriting, and spelling in with that. Excuse me, my goodness, this baby is giving me some heartburn. But you figure so if you get all that done, then you have your quiet time and then you're enjoying the rest of the afternoon. That is amazing. I mean, you have gotten so much done. And if you can't fit something in, you can still go, oh my gosh, I got so much done. Okay, now on the next page, it says make dinner. Set the table, turn music on, let the children help. I know that's hard sometimes, because sometimes you just want to get it done. Let the children help. You know what? I have an almost 14-year-old, And I've always let him help, and it's sometimes very hard because you just want to get it done. But he is now old enough where, oh my goodness, especially during this pregnancy, he has been making at least lunch and dinner, and then my 9 and 10-year-old's been making breakfast for the little ones, and it's pretty amazing. So even though it's kind of harder at the time, it makes a huge difference. Okay, do the 5 o'clock pickup. When 5 o'clock comes around, have everyone pick up everything everywhere for 15 minutes. I do not do 15 minutes. If you've ever read A Slob Comes Clean, which she's like totally a hero of mine because I totally think exactly like her. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is really enough for me. That's like my max like ADD time period. And if you figure 6 or 7 people picking up for 5 minutes, that's a lot of time. So, okay. So, then it says, go to the door with the children when dad comes home to welcome him. Enjoy your dinner with your family. Now, this isn't a big deal for us because we're pretty much at the door when my husband comes home because, like I said, we live in a really small space on purpose. So we're always at the door. When appropriate, get ready for bed and read some books together. Make sure you plan enough time for bedtime so everyone is not stressed out. Play a round of Uno or some other card games. And have some, some other card game one-on-one with each child this week, rotating between your kids. So if you are like me and you always say I need to have a date night with my kid, but you overplan it and then you can never actually make it happen, this is such a great suggestion. Just play a game for a few minutes with each kid and then rotate it. So allow your children to listen to their book on tape. Adventures in Odyssey or classical kids CDs while they're falling asleep. I never do that. I read. My husband and I read. It's one of my favorite things about our family is my husband and I actually love reading aloud so much that we will like bargain for who gets the first time and who gets to, but we've actually worked it out. So we've actually worked it out because we have realized we have totally different reading styles. And I'll tell you this, and I'll get back to my paper, but my husband reads to my kids all like the series, like the fantasy type series that I like have really no interest in. He read them the whole Harry Potter series, the whole Hobbit series. They're reading Inkheart right now, the Wing Feather Saga. I'm trying to think what else. Anyway, you get the gist of it. So he reads them all those. And then, and he reads second. I read first because my little ones fall asleep first. So I read, first of all, I read a lot of like children's things that I adore. Like I love Rosemary Wells, the Max and Ruby books. I love to read those aloud. I love Bill Pete. We love to read those aloud. And just any like children's books, more like picture books, but are really the ones that are interesting to my younger kids, so that they can hear those. That's why I read first, so that they can hear several of those books that are really appealing to their age. And then I read not necessarily series, but more fun books from my childhood. I read them all the Ramona stories, all the Beverly Cleary books, and The Mouse and the Motorcycle, kind of less, I don't know, less fantasy or whatever. The books we're reading right now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bud Not Buddy. It's like I think a Newbery Award winner. And The Watkins Go to Wilmingham. That's a Battle of the Books book by the same author. And now we're reading The Mighty Miss Malone, which is by the same author. That is an amazing series. I have been reading it, and my kids are amazingly into it, and they learn a lot about history, and that was totally an accident. I picked up The Watkins Go to Birmingham, and we thought it was going to be totally boring, and oh my gosh, it was so great. And it takes place during the Civil Rights, and then the next book, Bud Not Buddy, took place during the Depression, and The Mighty Miss Malone also takes place during the Depression. Anyway, so we don't ever let them listen to books on tape, because we already have to bargain for that time, is what I'm saying. All right. Then after your kids get to bed, it says set out what you need for tomorrow. Make your 6 most important things to do tomorrow list. Have some sweet time with your husband before bed. Tell him that you love him more and more each passing year, and you're so thankful that he married you. So I'm not that like obnoxiously sweet because my husband and I have an amazing marriage. And a lot of it is because we're just honest with each other. And so, I mean, I always tell my husband I'm like that I love him, and he always tells me that he loves me, but sometimes I'm like pissed off about something that he's done. And if I am, I don't ever say, oh, I'm just so grateful that you married me and blah blah blah. Whatever. He's totally lucky to have married me. I'm awesome. I'm just kidding. But my husband is an incredible person, and we have an incredible marriage. So I just kind of take that with a grain of salt, because I think that we've already got it going on. So pray together with your sweet husband before bed. Fall into bed knowing the Lord loves you, and you are a wonderful mama. And then it ends with this. Let's see, on this page, the wise woman built her house, but with her own hands, and the foolish one tears hers down. I swear that's related to me and Pinterest. Let's see. And let's see. It says prayers needed for the typical homeschool day, or supplies needed for a typical homeschool day. And we actually already covered all that. Like, it talks about Play-Doh and watercolors and stuff like that. So that is it. But anyway, if you are struggling and you just are feeling like you're not getting enough done, try it. Just try it for a week. And then I'm telling you, after you try it for a week, you can make it your own. So I hope this helped. And if it did help, please leave me a comment below, because I have stacks of these to share. And I don't want to share them if you're like, oh my gosh, you're just a big dork and those are stupid. It really helped me, so I hope it helps you. And that's it. So I love you, homeschool mamas, and best of luck, and I'll talk to you soon.